Earlier in the broadcast, we told you about the terrible shark attacks in Florida. Now we're going to learn about some ways to avoid and, if necessary, survive an attack. Greg Skopel of the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries joins us now from Cape Cod. Greg, I know it's raining there. Thanks for hanging in. I know this is a very important information for people because when we admit that shark attacks are rare, they are terrifying, and so many people, especially this time of the year, are going into the water. So first of all, tell us, is there a good time or a bad time to head to the beach?
We know, based upon the feeding ecology of sharks, that the best time not to go in the water is when sharks may be feeding more frequently, and that's usually dawn and dusk. So avoid periods of dawn and dusk, and you're less likely to be attacked by a shark, which, by the way, is a very, very low probability to begin with.
And what about what you wear, Greg?
Well, we know that sharks feed on small schooling fishes in many cases, and if you wear bright jewelry, shiny jewelry, bright bathing suits, that tends to be reflective. It tends to perhaps attract a shark, or you may actually mimic a bait fish, so you don't want to do that. So avoid those kind of shiny objects.
So even if you do all those things to try and avoid it, but the worst things happen, you see a shark. Yesterday we were talking to a surfer, and he said it's not uncommon for him to see sharks below his surfboard, but he's a veteran. He's not frightened by that. The average person's going to freak out. What do you do if you see a shark in the water?
Well, I think if you're an average person and you see a shark, you are going to freak out. And the best thing to do is just keep your eye on it and leave the water, very calmly. Don't panic, don't splash, just remove yourself from the presence of the shark.
And if the shark does bite you, like the young boy Monday morning who was fishing, and his brother and another friend, they're pounding on the shark because once it gets a hold of you, it doesn't want to let go. So are those some of the things you just hit on the shark?
In the cases where a shark does bite you and it is holding on to you, it's grabbing you with its jaws, strike the shark wherever you can. Let the shark know that you are not an easy prey item. Go ahead and punch it any way you can, eyes, nose, anywhere you can reach on the shark.
I know we always hear about the nose. Is that because that's a sensitive area on the shark?
Well, because the nose has not only the nostrils and it also has other kinds of sensory systems on it, it may be more sensitive to the shark. So go ahead and strike it. Really, you're in a survival mode. So, as is the case in any kind of wild animal attacks, you strike it any way you can.
Hey, Greg, what's this about, we've been hearing recently about shark repellents, chemical ones and electrical ones. I know there's some research being done. Do you think that's going to do any good?
Certainly, yeah. Most of the shark repellents under development right now are still under development. They're being tested, but there is some promising avenues that researchers are going down. Again, most of these repellents, though, are used for commercial divers, for people who are in the water much more frequently. They're not geared up toward the regular swimmer, so they may not be applicable right away for the average person going to the beach.
All right, and number one thing, as we said, though it is rare, if you do see a shark, don't panic. They're really not... They don't look at humans any differently than any other thing in the water, right? So it's not like they're coming after us. You just have to be as prepared as you can.
Absolutely. I mean, sharks don't want to eat people. It's a case of mistaken identity. They're going after some other food item, and it happens to be a person in very, very rare instances. So best thing to do is not worry about swimming with sharks. They're all around us at any given time, and don't panic.
All right, Greg. Well, thank you very much for that vital information and for braving the elements there. We sure do appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
And the water cooler. We're going to head around the water cooler next. Come on back.
Best